With all the new Silent Hill news going around, I was reminded of Silent Hill 2, a game I admittedly haven't played but have always been fascinated by. I decided to watch the dog joke ending of the game for a nice hearty chuckle, but what I found instead was horror. True, good old-fashioned existential horror. Today, I'd briefly like to explain why. I can't say for certain if this is the actual scariest part of Silent Hill 2. As I said, while I know a lot about the game, I haven't actually played it. With that being clear though, I find it hard to imagine a scene or scenario in many other games that can manage to unsettle me more. Yes, seriously. The joke ending featuring a dog controlling the entire world of the game is truly that terrifying. We live in a scary world. Terrible things are happening all the time. People wage wars, loved ones die from famine or disease, the political landscape becomes an incomprehensible corporate-led disaster. I mean, think about all the major world events even just happening right now. It's scary. And when we pull all this back to the most macro scale, to the universal, to the cosmological reasoning behind all of this, what answer do we find? Do we find one at all? For all the pain we suffer, for all the horrific things that happen in the world, why can human nature be so cruel? Why do diseases ravage our bodies? Why does death and suffering need to exist? Does that answer even exist? Silent Hill 2 is a game filled to the brim with that suffering. James is constantly haunted by disturbing, almost ethereal monsters, those that represent his sins. The death of his wife, his own feelings on that, they torment him. They torment him without him fully realizing why until the bitter end. In this situation, we have some answers, but that is only on the micro scale. On the macro level, as we've just discussed, we still don't. We will suffer, and then we will die, for seemingly no apparent reason. Silent Hill 2 understands this dilemma, and I think comments brilliantly on the concept. I want you to imagine this scenario. You've just come face to face with your worst nightmares, fighting grotesque, sexualized monsters that drip blood and pus, that seem to not only want to hurt you, but to violate your very mind. You beat them, yes, but that was only this time. You're entirely left in the dark as to if, or probably when, they'll come back. If this time they'll finally kill you. But the biggest question on your mind is this: why? Why is this happening to me? And then you open a singular door, and on the other side are met with the answer. A dog. It's literally just a single, goofily low-poly looking dog. And upon seeing this answer to all of your questions, your mind breaks, and you collapse, losing your will to go on. This is categorized as a joke ending, yes, but it's honestly just terrifying to me. To think that all these questions we have that concern whether our life is full of suffering or not. What if there was actually an answer, but it's this: a dog. Seemingly a non-sentient dog at that, just playing around with a bunch of buttons. Your wife died because a goddamn dog pressed a red button instead of a green one. It's as simple as that. Upon this realization, it would be absolutely impossible to ever feel control or agency ever again. You were at the complete and utter mercy of, well, something so blatantly stupid. All of your hopes, your dreams, your suffering and pain, the lives of your loved ones, even those you hate, even your own life, is dependent on a canine. I want you to consider this scenario. What if Sims were actual people? Now imagine yourself as that Sim, being made to undergo torment like drowning or starvation, just because the god of your universe thought it was funny. People do stuff like this in the game all the time. It would be terrible to be that Sim, with the answers to all those previously discussed questions being at the whims of what could only be considered by their point of view to be a psychopath. Consider all of this and compare it to Silent Hill 2. If I had to pick one that's scarier, I'd honestly go with the dog. Because while being in The Sims means you're at the complete mercy of someone cruel, at least their thought process is relatively comprehensible. Even if the actions they take are terrible, at least you can somewhat understand from a human perspective why they're doing it. Ancient religions did this all the time to explain what was unknown and scared them. Personalization. If you crafted stories around these mythical beings, then while lightning and thunder was still scary, at least you as a person could empathize with the story of how that beam of destructive light came to be. It kinda made sense. Now take a look at the dog. Its inner reasoning for pressing red instead of green is entirely incomprehensible. We can never dream of understanding it, therefore we can never dream of understanding why terrible things happen to us. And to add a cherry on top, not only is it incomprehensible, it's also just so stupid. You suffer, you die, for something so goddamn stupid. It's literally a dog in a chair, just pressing buttons. It's funny. Your mind is being violated, and it's all just so funny. With an understandable being, there are parameters. They won't kill everyone because then they'll have nothing to do. Sure, your life is at the mercy of something as mundane as boredom, and that's scary, but at least you can understand that concept enough to know they almost certainly won't intentionally go for that. Now, with the dog, it's literally just random. A simple slip of the paw can spell the entire doom of the universe. And that's just the most horrifying thing I've thought of all week. This is the essence of Lovecraftian fear. Yet I would argue it's even worse. Maybe even its own now evolved breed. Dog-Craftian fear. Because while Lovecraft tackled the concept of incomprehensible cosmic forces, he never tackled the more specific fear of knowing a dog's nature is inherently incomprehensible to us. Fully comprehending that comprehension is impossible. And when you now make that dog in charge of all of your suffering, you have Dog-Craftian fear. And the worst part, it's actually pretty funny. And, as always, thank you for watching.